Tuesday, August 18th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host, JJ Cooper, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Jaleel Shakir, working his way behind the boards. And we got a great show for you today. We got Drew Dinsick coming on, batting leadoff, the whale capper, to talk us through some NFL injuries that we need to make note of and some injuries we probably should not worry about. Tons of injury news over the past couple of days, tons of injuries that have happened over the past couple of days. Just as we go to air, I see Brock Bowers has tape on that PCL. Should we be worried? I don't know. That's why I'm going to talk to Drew and we can decipher which injuries are right now just preseason noise and which injuries actually matter. After that, we got Adrian coming on, a.k.a. the DrunkenGoon. We're going to talk some soccer, some good old-fashioned football. We got the Premier League starting this week, MLS tomorrow, Europa League starting. Tons of action that we can get into. And yeah, it's going to break it all down for us here, and I cannot wait to talk about that. Speaking of soccer, one of the craziest things I saw this week, step aside Haralabos, a.k.a. Bob, because there is a 22-year-old kid from Busan who's like an absolute football manager legend. He loves playing football manager. And in 2023, he went to Africa looking for some obscure football clubs. And he stumbled upon a football club called Chizumulu United in Malawi. So he recorded it, put his adventures on YouTube, and that was it. Then the team needed $273 or else they were not able to participate in the League 3 Malawi League, whatever it is, the third division league in Malawi, and he ended up sending them the money and is now the owner of the team. This is one of the greatest stories I've ever seen. This guy is a football manager fan, loves playing video games, follows his passion, goes to find an obscure club, helps the team essentially join a league, and now they're in third place looking to get promoted. This guy's living out his football manager dreams in real life. It's the craziest story I've seen on the internet today. All because $273 became the owner, and now he's helping this team. Who knows? Maybe they'll one day play in some important game. But what a crazy niche story that I stumbled upon here today. I thought I'd share it with you guys in the chat. Morning, fellas. What's up, Connor? How's it going, E. Colt? Appreciate you guys tuning in today. You know the drill. Smash the like button. Goes a long way here on the channel. If you're new to the channel as well, hit that subscribe button. We're going to bring on Drew in just a second here. But a quick reminder that the Hammer Daily is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, big hits get even bigger with Dinger Tuesday on FanDuel. Customers can choose their own reward every Tuesday to use on home run bets. How will you play your game? Option 1, the bet reset. Use this on your wager and you'll get refunded in bonus bets if your bet loses. Option 2, a 50% profit boost. Make your bet, activate the profit boost, and if it hits, that's extra winnings at no extra cost. Make your choice, and the reward will be ready for you to use on your next home run bet. Just visit FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to choose your reward for home runs every Dinger Tuesday. Play ball with the Home for Home Runs on FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are not withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including any bonus and token expiration. Leg requirements and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 100-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/China, Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana. All right. Let's get into today's show here. A lot of messages in the chat. Oh, Cole, you don't care about the story? You know what I do? Let's chat NFL. All right, fine. Enough beating around the bush here. Let's get into today's show. Just one more ask to smash the like button, please, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you. Anyways, he's an NFL, NBA, and tennis handicapper, betting analyst over at NBC Sportsbet, co-host of the Deep Dive podcast, and the number one bottom up wine expert over on gambling Twitter. Drew, how's it going?
It's going great. I liked your story.
Thank you.
When you tell it, it's the pronunciation of the country is Malawi.
Malawi. Okay.
Not making fun of you. Just don't want you to get caught off sides if you tell someone who's familiar with the pronunciation. But yeah, accentuation on the law.
Malawi. Okay, good to know. I don't know if you know this, but I am like notoriously awful with pronunciation. So
That's okay.
I don't know if you can tell. Maybe you can, but yeah, that's didn't even know this was a country until today. So anyways.
Yeah, country in Southeast Africa. It sits smack on the Great Rift Valley. I don't know if you in geologic time there will be in the future there will be an ocean that Malawi will have oceanfront coast. So if you want to get your speculative real estate done now, get the oceanfront land in Malawi before there's an ocean.
All right, that's a good point. Real estate. Not only is he a wine expert, but also a African real estate expert as well.
It's more of like I just know the Rift Valley is gonna split Africa, and you're gonna have a new sea.
All right, interesting.
And then eventually an ocean.
All right. Well, we're not only getting NFL information here, we're also getting geography. I love it. The chat is telling me to tell you how I pronounce the 49ers fullback's name.
Okay.
Kyle Juszczyk.
Juszczyk. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the easiest one of them all. Juszczyk.
No, I talked to some Polish people. They told me it was Juszczyk, so I'm sticking with it.
All right.
He's Polish, right?
It sounds Polish. Eastern European.
Somewhere in Eastern Europe. All right. Anyways, let's start with today's show. Enough beating around the bush here. Where do we start? We got to start with injuries because we're seeing a ton of injuries all over the place. And I feel like the one I want to start with, and there was a chat mentioned, someone mentioned in the chat earlier before talking about Breece Hall and the groin injuries. We heard Aaron Glenn today come out and say 2 to 3 weeks in, 2 to 3 week injury here for Breece Hall for the Jets. Doesn't seem like that leads you right into week one. So is he going to be 100% week one? I don't think he is. I'm not really sure. Talk me through this Breece Hall injury, how impactful it is to the Jets, and how much they need him to be 100% come week one.
Well, it definitely impacts whether you're going to bet that week one game. But other than that, I don't think it has much of an impact on the season for the Jets. In general, what I noticed this time of year as we are getting meaningful injuries to players who are expected to contribute, the ones that echo the loudest in mid-August are ones that impact fantasy drafts, which in tune are wildly overstated compared to how much it should impact the bottom line for a team's like win projection or even a fair rating. The idea that you can't expect Braylon Allen to be next man up and give you better than replacement level running back play is, I think, ridiculous. He's going to be perfectly fine in relief. He may affect your expectation for a week one bet on the Jets if you had eyes on betting them against the Titans, but that's about it. I wouldn't change my win projection for the Jets at all based on this injury. And in general, I would caution people who kind of just consume at a relatively high level information stuff in the NFL space, not to get kind of the wool pulled over your eyes in the context of fantasy news compared to handicapping.
Yeah, very good point there. I always like to think of like player level stuff though when it comes to this, because I want to think about what I'm going to be betting on in week one. So like if Breece Hall is going to play, do I want to be what do I expect his number to be? Should I look towards Braylon Allen? How much will he actually play here? A lot of these stuff, unless it's a quarterback injury, this stuff isn't really going to affect the spread. But
100%. I mean, cool. I think my expectation of this season for the Jets is you were going to get a pretty meaningful split of usage between Braylon Allen and Breece Hall anyway. Like maybe they were intending to feature him and run him into the ground. I did not have that sense. And so, they have a lot of the same skill set. It's maybe a tiny step down in terms of just raw talent. And I mean, maybe it's more than a tiny step. It's a non-trivial step down in terms of raw talent, but Braylon Allen doing a Breece Hall impression sounds right to me. I don't ultimately think it affects the team. As far as usage goes, Braylon Allen probably goes from an expected touch target share of 10 in week one to maybe something like 23, 24. And that's going to wildly impact his projected stat line if you're into the player props. But yeah, I mean, I definitely, I'm not interested in making NFL season any more miserable than it has to be by betting the Jets a lot. But I definitely had that week one circled as a spot where I didn't really understand why the Titans were getting that many, why the Titans were laying that many points. Didn't make sense.
Yeah, a lot of people high on the Titans this year, low on the Jets. It seems to be like a common trend among people. Next player injury I want to talk about is Shamar Stewart. More so just like the issue that arises if another edge rusher gets hurt. How closely are you watching Shamar Stewart's injury here? It's only a hyperextended knee, but again, like this is a situation where the Bengals could injuries could compound here and affect their defensive line. How much are you worried about Shamar Stewart?
Yeah, the Bengals are thin at edge, but to me, the only guy that matters on the front line there is Dexter Lawrence. I think Miles Murphy, Boye Mafe stepping into kind of a little bit of an expanded role, playing more, higher snap count percentage is going to be just fine for them. I like what I've seen so far from Cassius Howell as a young immediate contributor and a kind of off-speed pitch for their pass rush. So it's Shamar Stewart alone being absent doesn't change my rating for the D-line. I still think that the Bengals defense is a bet on unit. Market has them like 31st, 30th, something like that. I would say they're way closer to league average. And so for those reasons, I'm kind of putting my money where my mouth is already, getting involved in the under for week one against the Bucs. I think the Bengals defense is going to have a nice day that day.
Yeah, you also talked about on this show about how much you do like the Bengals and how high you are this year in terms of betting on the Bengals and being on the Bengals. Next player, Alec Pierce with the Colts. Ankle injury, and everything we've heard out of camp is that Daniel Jones looks electric, but the wide receivers, the weapons, can't stay healthy. They just signed Keenan Allen. How important is it bringing in Keenan Allen for this Indianapolis Colts team?
Well, this one's tricky because there are two huge signals coming from this move. Number one, there was a lot of cloak and dagger speculation about how serious the Alex Pierce injury was. Signing Keenan Allen kind of confirms, I think, a lot of the negative speculation about how serious the injury was. So I think at this point, if Pierce suits up and is fully, full speed week one, I'm going to be surprised. And the idea that you're going to replace his impact on the passing game with Keenan Allen is ridiculous. Like the skill sets could not be more opposite. It's like the Braylon Allen, Breece Hall thing. Like, yeah, they're not that different. Keenan Allen and Alex Pierce might as well be playing different positions. You're generally going and what they have been doing so far of trying to deploy Josh Downs in more of an Alex Pierce role, I did not like. I think that this kind of muddying the water of roles, responsibilities, and how you want to, kind of have the right players in the right spots in a Shane Steichen offense that I generally am pretty positive on has got me concerned about the passing game overall. I think it's going to take a couple of weeks for Daniel Jones to get up to speed anyway. I think that you're going to see a pretty run heavy focus from the Colts in the first 3 weeks of the season. And this is actually setting up, I think, one of kind of my favorite early in the season futures plays, which is I think the margin between the Colts and the Jags and the Texans is not that significant. The market right now is like pretty sure that the Texans are going to win the South. I don't know that I feel that confidently. I have huge questions about the Jags. And by the way, in terms of injuries, the one that came down relatively recently to the guard is concerning to me because that offensive line is beat up and thin. But the Colts right now are 4-1 to win the South. They start out the season with games against the Ravens and the Chiefs, which are likely losses. Then they draw the Houston Texans, who they are going to be dogs at home to. If they're 0-3 at that point, that is, I think, a decent buy low on a team that has still the potential to, put together a winning stretch of football over their next 7 weeks of games. They go internationally, play the Commanders. They get the Steelers. They get Tennessee at home, Minnesota, Jacksonville, Dallas, Miami. Like in that stretch, Dallas is a scary matchup. Minnesota is not a great matchup for them, but the other games are all winnable. I think if they come away with, if they're 1-2 after the first 3 weeks of the season, and particularly if they beat Houston in that home game week 3, I think you're going to have a pretty awesome entry point on the Colts to win the South. And at that point, you're basically just hoping that at some point Alex Pierce is 100% and that Daniel Jones comes back to form, and that the pieces are all finally in place by mid-season. So Colts are kind of the team that I'm the most excited to see how this plays out in terms of early win-loss. And watching that price drift from 4-1 to say 10-1, that would be a nice entry point, I think, on them to win the South.
Yeah, even after week 2, like you mentioned here, because the Ravens Chief is a tough 1-2, and then you have the divisional game against the Texans, which could be, could be the inflection point of that season. I love the Texans look, and I also like the signing of Keenan Allen. It felt like even without the Alec Pierce injury, they were still like pretty shallow at wide receiver, so it just does help out. Give the little bit of a bump to their floor. Their last AFC team I want to talk about is the Chargers. This one, we don't really know how injured Rashawn Slater is, but this is feels like super important. I know that they have Trey Pipkins as their swing tackle, who doesn't replace Slater, but is decent enough to keep things afloat. But this offensive line is supposed to be a strength of this Chargers team. How concerned are you 1 to 10 on Rashawn Slater right now?
10. The injury when it happened, there was a whiff of could change his career trajectory, right? Forget about being back and fully healthy and at full strength. Is he going to be the guy we saw, right? That was the degree of seriousness. And so this is maybe the one that and there will be injuries that happen this year too, that where, you hear, it's a great example. The Tyreek Hill injury last year, right? Tyreek Hill's injury last year was so serious. And in the immediate aftermath, you kind of write it down. You're like, man, that might have been a career ender. And sure enough, here we are now. And it looks like it may have been a career ender. I don't know that Rashawn Slater is a career ender, but it definitely is career altering. And the fact that he's not out there and kind of participating and getting up to speed is seriously concerning. The offensive line for the Chargers is it's got potential weaknesses all across the middle, and it is buoyed by the idea that you have Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater at your bookends. If one of those two players is not available, major red flag for trying to run what Mike McDaniel wants to run. This one's concerning. And I think in general, offensive lines not getting continuity in the preseason makes me very cool on offensive units going into the regular season. We could kind of go down a list right now of teams that I'm thinking about fading week 1 specifically because their offensive lines are not gaining continuity right now.
Commanders,
top of the list. Chargers are in there. Jags are in there. Honestly, the Bengals offensive line is starting to scare me a little bit.
Raiders,
Raiders. Yep.
Josh Power Johnson went down. I think it was today or yesterday.
That one's spooky. Yeah. The injuries and the lack of continuity across some of these lines, I think, is going to really impact the performance of these offenses in the early going. And the Packers, another good one. That this is there are a couple of young guards trying to win spots in certain units, and you're like, dude, is this a good thing if a third round guard is beating out his the incumbent, or is this things are that bad, and the haves and have nots on the offensive line across the NFL right now are pretty stark.
Yeah, no, that's a great point there. Okay, quickly, just back to the Chargers here. Rashawn Slater isn't practicing at what point are you all right, I'm ringing the damn alarms. I am officially afraid of this Chargers team right now. I don't want to be backing them at all in the near future.
Well, there's two parts to this equation. Well, one is the market is really high on these guys. And so if you are already on the low side and now you add this to the mix, this is a game changing rating for a unit in a really competitive division. Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos they're all sitting on top of each other in terms of market ratings, I would have the Broncos first, Chargers decent gap, Chargers second, and Chiefs third. But I could flip Chargers Chiefs in a heartbeat if Rashawn Slater is missing a chunk of the season.
Absolutely. We mentioned offensive line injuries. We rattled off a few of them. Let's move over to like some offensive line optimism, maybe. Ozzy Trapillo looks like he might be coming back for the Bears, like activated off the PUP list for after only like, 6 months off his injury, which is like absolutely like superhuman, super soldier serum type stuff here. How much of a bump does he add to this offensive line?
I actually feel like he's gravy. The strength of the Bears and what they do, number one, it's kind of coming from the middle and anchored by Joe Thuney. Darnell Wright is an incredible right tackle. Whatever you get out of your left tackle, I think is gravy. Braxton Jones currently beating out Jedrick Wills from what I can tell you, but Ozzy Trapillo potentially being strong enough to win that job over Braxton Jones. I think that makes the Bears offensive line a top 5 unit overall. But even more than that, I kind of don't care who the Bears run out there because I have so much belief in what Ben Johnson does from a blocking scheme standpoint. All
right, let's stick with the Bears. Luther Burden, another guy who's potentially injured. This one I feel like is also, you mentioned don't overblow these injuries because of the fantasy impact here. I think Luther Burden is a key piece in this offense, though, so a little bit worried if he's not able to start the season. Do you think he'll be ready to go, though?
I think he will be ready to go, but I think he's going to have a reduced role compared to what they were hoping early on. And I don't think that's going to matter a ton because the sequencing of the schedule for the Bears, they're not going up against teams where they need game-breaking wide receiver play to score. So they realistically, they can, kind of find other ways to, have a more balanced attack, get into the high 20s, low 30s, and still be okay in a couple of these spots early going. The Panthers may be the perfect kind of week 1 opponent for them if Luther Burden is at 80%. In general, I think that people were kind of keying on Luther Burden as an exciting upside play in fantasy, which is why that injury gets so much attention. But I would be hopeful that by the time we get to mid-season, it's a pretty balanced passing attack with Loveland being the key piece.
Any interest in, we talked about this with Judah last week, any interest in some of these injured guys to maybe target for like offensive player of the year, or if it's a rookie, offensive rookie of the year, defensive player of the year, any interest in that specifically for Luther Burden?
It's an interesting call. I think you can probably be patient though and get it. Like, expect some of these prices to drift. What I haven't seen so far is market overreaction in the awards space to injuries and availability. I think it's gonna. I think what I remember from years past is week 1, week 2, kind of the players that sprint out to really impressive early starts are the ones that get overbet and everybody else drifts. And that's when you're going to want to try to catch some knives.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it here. Speaking of drifting in the offensive rookie of the year market, we saw Jordan Tyson fall from like, what was he, 550, 600, all the way down to 33 to 1 with news of him being out for 8 weeks, out for half of the year. This one I think is pretty important for the Saints. Again, not tied to fantasy as well, but the Saints wide receiver core is just so fragile, especially with Jordan Tyson being out now. I see a lot of love for the Saints on FanDuel. You can get the Bucks to have more wins than the Saints at plus 100, and that just doesn't feel right to me. With Tyson out, the love the Saints are getting, are you going to be like lower on the Saints than market?
Yes. This is a game-changing injury. And yeah, it's funny to be in. Like it is funny how different how much the differences that you see in terms of how these, how it peels back the onion, what the ripple effect is of some of these things. The Saints gave you a very clear signal in the offseason that they were going to try to push their chips into the table and compete with a top 10 offense this year. And a huge aspect of that was their selection of Tyson. Right now, this is the skill position group is not dynamic and special at all, as without him involved. And even more than that, the Chris Olave part of it, his chemistry with Shuck was just flat out awesome through the second half of the season, which is why I think people just in general were excited about this offense this year. He's a shot to the head away from being out for extended time himself. Like his concussion count meter is scary. Concussion count meter. So I would generally look at the Bucks in the South at this point with like a lot of enthusiasm. They're a very flawed team. Baker Mayfield is not a quarterback I'm super excited to go to war with. This offensive coordinator did not show me anything last year that I think is, kind of clear evidence that he could find Liam Cohen baseline replacement level. So I think the offense is going to struggle and be inconsistent really more than anything. But I like the Saints pass rush a lot right now. Okay. It looks like they found a pretty special group of young, defensive contributors in the front seven. And what Bowles likes to do, he likes to put his cornerbacks on islands, make them, really test them by, kind of bringing exotic pressures. He has the unit to do that, I think, this year. The secondary, I thought, grew and got better as the year went on last year. And the Bucks in general, I think, are the clear bet on with the Tyson news. It's worth noting that I'm sure I'm going to grade some long shots I took on the Saints as losers right now. Like I thought there was a world where they had the weakest pass defense schedule of opponents in the football. And I thought that Shuck could, ultimately hit some pretty surprisingly high, superlatives in the passing game this year. And now without Tyson involved for a first half of the season, forget about it. And, a repeat injury like this to his hamstring, him having just a general redshirt year feels like what's coming.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to be likely here. And you mentioned how all out the Saints wanted to go on the passing game and on the offense. Signed ETN, drafted four rookies, one tight end, three wide receivers. They made a statement here. They're like, we want to push the ball.
David Edwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they pushed their chips in the table to have a top 10 offense, and now I'm just not sure that's going to be possible.
It's going to be tough without without Jordan Tyson. Who knows what Jordan Tyson's career is going to look like? Hopefully he can get healthy though, because you never want to see a player like that get hurt, go down. He's had injury issues for most of his college career as well. Stick within the division though. You mentioned the Bucks. I'm actually high on the Bucks versus market, but now I'm a tad bit worried because I think the Bucks season hinges on Emeka Egbuka, and now we're hearing murmurs that he has turf toe. Has not been confirmed yet, just a toe injury. But turf toe, we know how detrimental it is. We've seen it with Devontae Adams in years past. It can really, really hurt a star wide receiver. So if the news comes out that Egbuka does have turf toe, does that make you at least a little bit afraid of the Buccaneers? Then you're like sort of defaulting on the Panthers. No offense, Eric Eager.
I would rate the Bucks higher than the Panthers if Egbuka missed the season, I think.
Okay.
I have to relook at my numbers, but we forgot to mention the Panthers in the offensive line injury woes category. Like some very important pieces are not playing together in that offensive line, and that is, the consistent failure in the early going from them in the preseason week 1 game, I think, was a testament to that offensive line sucking. So, yeah, Panthers are on fade alert, Falcons are on fade alert, and now the Saints with kind of a middling offense are not good enough to win the division. Bucks can win the South based on defense alone, getting them to 9 wins.
Can we just bet the no on every single team to win the division? Because I don't think there's they're gonna lose. Like whoever wins this division loses their way to the division. Does that make any sense?
Well, I think if you're looking for upside,
don't say the Falcons.
No, it's you find the price on stage of elimination for the Bucks.
There we go. I like that.
Wild card loss.
All right.
Like they're going to be 7-point dogs hosting the Rams week 1.
Yeah, there we go.
Wild card round.
Yeah. So someone in the chat said no one's talking about the Falcons at all. They are the clear value in the division. You would have to give me a really, 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 really big number to do anything Falcons related. It just could not be more down on that team.
Correct.
Yes. Last one I want to get to is McCaffrey with the Niners. Again, obviously more exposed because of fantasy, but it feels like McCaffrey is the engine of the offense. Ricky Pearsall injury also coming into effect here, where a skill position group for this wide receiver is wide receiver group for the 49ers like it does every single year, getting super thin. Are you worried about McCaffrey at all if he can't play? We've seen him sit out for seasons before, so like this is like we're familiar with this. Are you worried about this at all?
I'm worried about McCaffrey from an effectiveness standpoint, efficiency standpoint, independent of his tightness and age and all of that. He was they basically had to spam usage at him last year to get average production, I thought. And I'm guessing that's the way it's going to go again this year with as you mentioned, the lack of other weapons to lean on. I don't think it affects his availability for week one. I think he's going to get 10, 15 targets in that game against the Rams. That's how they're going to try to beat the Rams is my guess. I think there's whiffs this being more likely about contract status than it is about actual physical ailment.
Yeah, but the signs are there that we should be worried about Christian McCaffrey. It was a 3.4-ish yards per carry last year. Not looking too hot. Not looking too hot. I know I said that was the last one, but any quick word on Jeremiah Love? I'll let you the opportunity to sort of roast the Cardinals for running their 4th overall pick out there, giving them like a million snaps in preseason. Just so dumb, so dumb here.
For an organization that wasted the 3rd overall pick on a luxury, to do something even stupider was impressive.
Yeah. It's almost like we should have saw it coming.
the pick in the first place was an atrocity. And then to get him hurt before he even sees the field is like, honestly, it's probably a fireable offense.
Yeah.
Not for the coach and stuff, but just like from the top down, like none of this feels like it's being managed well at all in Arizona. And that's why there's stink all over this team and they're 10-point dogs every week for the first 12 weeks of the season. The idea of drafting a player with his upside and wasting his prime on a team that is not competitive and kind of using him as a tool to put yourself in purgatory so you're not able to draft. In a best case scenario, he's a game changer and he gets you to 7 wins every year and you're never in position to draft the quarterback of the future. Like the process is so failed and so flawed. It's an embarrassment, and that's why they're the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. But I promise you, I'll be clicking like of those 12 games you mentioned where they're like 7.5. Yeah, I'm going to be clicking them a couple times.
A bunch.
I'm going to be clicking that a bunch. Just this, like, listen, I'm a sucker for this offense a little bit. I am.
Yeah.
But
here's a fun prop for you. Over under 6.5 backdoor covers by the Cardinals this year.
Oh my gosh, 6.5 is such a large number.
Backdoor cover specifically.
Yeah. I feel like it's just such a, but like they're all going to be backdoor covers. What do you mean? they're going to get blown out. It feels like are they ever going to be leading at any point in any game ever? Like it's, but I'll take the under there. I'll take the under there. Okay. And I hope with how much I'm going to
track it. I'll track it and I'll let you know how I love that. Play this out.
With how much I'm probably going to be betting on them, I'm going to hate it. But yes, I'm going to take the under there. All right. Before you head out, U.S. Open, Cincinnati.
They're going to cover like 10 games, and I think like 6 or 7 of them are going to be backdoors. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Cincinnati Open right now going on. Quickly talk me through that. Any opinions you have there, and then if not, we can just flip directly to the U.S. Open.
Let's see. Did they just go on rain delay, or did they just? Oh no, the first 2 matches wrapped. Rublev lost. Pathetic. I got Medvedev today against Nakashima. I think in general he's the player I'm the most interested to see make a little bit of a run here at this tournament. I would love to see him kind of get into form heading into the U.S. Open and catch a quarter where he is, not up against the Sinners and the Alcaraz of the world, where he has a legitimate shot to make a deep run. But right now, the men's side of things is just an absolute. It's a chaotic mess with injuries and availability. Your guy Felix Aliassime has a nice matchup today. He should come through. I would also love to see him put together some form here in Cincinnati. I think this tournament is wide open on the men's side. Lorenzo Musetti is another player I would love to see make a run here. He was underpriced by market on the Open. That's moved closer to correct, but still a little bit of meat on the bone there. I would prefer the lay of the 2.5 games compared to the money line price right now. Since the men's side of men's tennis, the best bets I think still are Alcaraz will play in the U.S. Open. yes, no market available still. And I think Sinner wins the US Open. My fair on him is in the 65% range, and he's still kind of priced a little above 50.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that because like, is there a chance that Sinner misses? Because it feels like he's being priced like he misses. And if you feel like there's an angle to take here, like you just be betting essentially the majority of the board if you think Sinner's gonna miss.
My read on him not playing Cincinnati is load management.
Okay.
I think he's fun.
Okay, fair.
Haven't seen evidence of that. I'm just speculating based on where the reports are coming from and the degree of seriousness.
So we're assuming that the Sinner staff, the coaching staff, is smart, but they've burned us in the past.
Here's the thing. If you're going to skip a high-profile Masters tournament, you're going to make a lot of people angry if it is perceived as being done for load management. If you can convince the world that there's a medical reason that you're skipping, you avoid the strict scrutiny of a lot of the important people that put this tournament together. And I think just in general, Sinner is not interested. He's a political actor in a lot of ways with the way he manages his appearances across the ATP. And I would expect that this is literally prepping for the US Open to get that title.
Yeah. No, all right. That's a great point there. If you like Sinner, the -120 is definitely feels like the shortest that we're going to get.
Yes. Realistically, if he announced tomorrow that the treatment worked phenomenally, he feels great heading into the US Open, I think the market jumps to 65 on him, which is fair.
Yeah. All right. Drew, appreciate you joining the show. Any final thoughts before you head out here?
Well, we didn't talk any wine. The Vito chat. Everybody was curious. You're headed to Milan and Greece when?
Yes. You're gonna crucify me if I tell you when.
Why?
I have a wedding there. I'm in like the wedding party for it, so it's an inopportune time. It's going for week 1.
That's a great time to go.
Okay.
Shoulder season is by far the best time to travel.
Okay.
You're not going to miss. You know how much week 1 will matter in the grand scheme of things in the NFL this year? Very, very little. The Bears lost embarrassingly the first 2 weeks of last year, and they ultimately got the 2 seed. Do not worry about missing week 1. September is the best time to visit the Mediterranean in my experience, and it's not close.
All right.
The weather is incredible. It's still warm. The crowds are gone. It's warm, it's not too hot, and the crowds are gone. Everything's still open. September's the sweet spot, man. You're gonna have a great time. But if you're looking for wine, here's the quick download, right? I don't know a ton about your personal wine journey. I'm guessing you're still in the I want to try everything kind of mindset. You're not locked into certain varietals or certain styles. When you're in Milan, you're closest to the Piedmont region of Italy. You're going to want to find some life-changing Barolo, and you're going to want to pair that with like a truffle-y type of meal.
Okay.
And that is like a classical pairing that you can only get in northern Italy that will be very, very memorable. As you then transition down to Greece, you're going to want to focus on white, and you're going to want to focus on crisp mineral focused whites that go well with like the seafood fare and the islands down there. The ones that kind of stand out. So again, Barolo in northern Italy. And then look for was it Assyrco? Comes from Santorini. Is good. It's a little overpriced in my opinion, but it's quite good, crisp white. And Robolo, if you can find it from Kefalonia, is an awesome white as well. But in general, in Europe, the best wine recommendation is just to drink local. You're going to find like world-class stuff that you can't get in the Western hemisphere, that is made by just mom and pop type operations everywhere. So don't be a snob. Go for the local, and you'll be impressed, I'm sure.
All right, I cannot wait. Drew, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Best luck, guys.
Great stuff there from Drew. As always, go follow him on Twitter at whale_capper. Drew's the best. Drew's the best. I hope someone in the chat is going to be going to Italy or Greece soon, because look at that information coming from Drew. Maybe we should just like extend the hammer like just maybe a month in the summer. We stop the hammer daily and we just do wine tours with Drew, and we just become a travel YouTube channel. Maybe that's what the route that we should go instead. Drew takes me on some wine tours. I would love that. I'd love that. Anyways, before we enter the rest of the show, quickly want to remind you guys about our friends over at BetStamp, because if you're serious about betting props, the hard part isn't finding an edge, it's scaling it. BetStamp Pro is built to grow your volume and your ROI. Every player prop and alternate line across 200 plus sportsbooks on one screen in real time, priced against BetStamp's True Line, a proprietary model weighted per market and prop type, bias corrected, producing the most efficient, sharpest props pricing reference in the industry. Catch off-market props the second that they appear across more markets and more outlines than anywhere else, so you can get more money down at a bigger edge more often. Make sure you scan the QR code on screen or use the link in the description to apply. That's betstamp.com/hammer, or scan the QR code, on screen. Click the link in the description as well if you'd like to apply. A lot of mentioning in the chat. Barolo sounds like a Pokemon. What? Sounds like a soccer player. Come on. Right? Or am I thinking of Barella? Maybe I'm thinking of Barella. That's a soccer player. Anyways, let's get into our final guest here for today. You've known him in the chat. You've seen him around here during the World Cup. A football expert, Adrian, a.k.a. the Drunken Goon. Adrian, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm getting ready to start the European leagues. I'm going to try and follow Manchester United as closely as I can because I have so many friends who are United fans, and I'm a soccer guy now. So
and a sucker for punishment.
There we go. Well, it's I feel like it goes hand in hand with being a Leafs fan. So there we go. Where do you want to start here? Do you want to start with maybe the European playoffs, which are happening? I think they're happening in like a couple hours right now. Let's start with the Euro Cup today then.
Yeah, so we got some Champions League qualifiers today and tomorrow. It's the last playoff round before the group stage. So a lot on the line. These clubs are likely to make 30, 40 million euros by making to the group stage. So the pressure's on. 7 games between the two days. I've got 3 plays in the Champions League, none of them today. But the most interesting game is the Turkish side against Lyon, two superpowers that are looking to get to the group stage. It's been rough for Lyon for a couple of years, but now they have an opportunity to get their payroll bumped up, and they have one of the best academies in Europe, so it's a big opportunity for them. On the Turkish side, Lukaku's out, a couple of others, Soyuncu and Amrabat, so other strength, but it's hard to go to Istanbul and get a result. Lyon wasn't that impressive against Sparta Prague, but they did pull through. They were second best in Prague, and they needed a Prague red card to finally pull away 3-0 in the return leg to overcome 2-1 from the first leg. I think Lyon is in for a tough game, but they should be able to keep the Turkish side at bay if they don't make any mistakes and don't give it away. For the plays I have Slovan Bratislava -3/4, -109 over Celje. One of the best Premier League midfielders, Yaya Toure, has turned to coaching. It's his first gig, and he's doing wonders there. Getting the team to this stage is amazing. He's discovering players that nobody has heard of, and they have a good opportunity against Celje, not one of the big teams. So I think they take advantage of the first leg at home and win by 1 or 2, -3/4. It's the right price for me.
All right. You said -3/4, -102?
109.
109. All right, 109 -3/4.
Good to -120.
Good to -120. And you can synthetically build that on FanDuel as well. The quarter price isn't there, but you can build that, correct? Right?
-0.5 and -1.
Yeah. All right. Any other bets you have for the Champions League qualifiers here?
So this is kind of an evergreen bet. Bodo Glimt over. Tomorrow they play Dutch side NEC. NEC came through with kind of a shocking upset against Olympiacos. They drew 0-0 in Greece. They were the better team there. They were underdogs coming home and pulled it out 1-1 in regulation and 2-1 in extra time. So kudos to them for a small club that hasn't been playing in Europe much. They have an opportunity here as well. Bodo Glimt, they like to trade chances. They're very effective finishing them as well, and going into it, and I expect this one to be high scoring. I have over 3.25 -109.
Would you look at the Bodo Glint team total like 1.5 -128, or is that a little too high?
That's actually not bad. I have not
Okay.
looked at the team totals.
Mhm.
I'm in a training course this week, and everything's frozen because of the software they're running, so it's kind of killing me. But yeah, I think that's actually a good opportunity to take a stake in Bodo and in the over.
Yeah, all right. I love that. Overs in the Bodo game. It's a new rule now. We're marking it down. We're adding it to the Claude Code task. All right. Any other things for the European qualifiers or playoffs, or you want to move off and talk some MLS here?
Yeah, so just a couple of quick ones. We've been backing Hapoel Beersheva, the Israeli champions. They came through. I was against them, actually, against Red Star Belgrade in the return leg, but surprisingly they won the first leg 1-0, and then they went to Belgrade in tough conditions and won 2-0 there. They kind of proved themselves. Saba is another small club that's kind of happy to be here. I think this is on neutral ground. It's played in Bucharest, but Hapoel should have some support there, and -0.25 +102 is not a bad price, so I would play that to -120 as well.
All right, -0.25 +102, good to -120 on Hapoel Beersheva. HBS. There we go. Yeah, I need an easier way to pronounce some of these teams here. All right, let's move on. Let's talk some MLS action happening tomorrow. What are the biggest games you have circled here? We got every single team playing tomorrow. What are you looking at?
So we got a couple of rivalry games. We got the Galaxy against San Jose. That's always a fiery one. And we had the Midwest Showdown, the St. Louis against Kansas City. I have plays in both. I have the over 3.25 in the Galaxy San Jose game. San Jose team is, they open it up in trade chances. Sometimes they come up on the losing end of it, but they're not going to change their modus operandi. So over 3.25 -110 is a good price here. I think this has the potential to go. You can even ladder this up over 3.5, 4.5, maybe even 5.5 if you have the stomach for it. I think we see a lot of goals in this game.
All right, no, I definitely have the stomach for that. The 5.5 on FanDuel right now is +540, 4.5 +250, 3.5 +110 there. So maybe we're building the ladder and we're ringing it all the way up. The next game you mentioned, you had one more there.
So Sporting Kansas City against St. Louis, it's one of those games that kind of brings out the passion in both sides. Sporting KC just released their designated player midfielder this week. Kind of a shocking move. I think they're looking to turn over their roster. It hasn't worked so much this season. St. Louis is kind of on the up and up, so I think they win this one. -0.5 -103 is a decent price. I can play that to -115.
All right, -0.5 -103, good to -115 there on St. Louis's side there. Any other bets you have for us here?
I got a lot of bets.
All right, fire it off. Fire it off. No need for me to.
I'm not betting the board, but it's close. The other two that I'll recommend: Austin +1 -117. I got this last night over Seattle. Seattle's just so banged up, and we saw it in the last game. They had an injury, and they basically had nobody to bring on. It's like Tacoma playing up in the MLS. It's they just it looks like they've lost hope. The managers is arguing with ownership to get the better players in, and it hasn't happened yet. Austin's not the kind of team that is going to shock anybody or impress you very much, but they play tight. They get transition chances, and I think +1 is just wrong. I had that's +3/4, and we'll take a flyer on that.
All right, +1 +3/4 on Austin.
Sorry, +1 -117. It's good to 3/4 -120.
Okay, 3/4 -120. So what's go ahead, yeah.
Charlotte +0.25 -112 or Toronto. TFC finally won their first game in about 3 months. It was 2-1, and they kind of had to sweat it late. It was a deflected goal and the wonder strike. Things lined up for them. I don't think that's going to be the case against Charlotte. Charlotte's got a little bit of momentum that they're building. Kalina in net is finally playing better than he was earlier in the season. This is a team that's rolling, and getting a quarter here is a good bet. +0.25 -112 for Charlotte.
+0.25 -112 for Charlotte. Next one, just fire it off. Fire away.
So Yeah, the last one I'll give out is LAFC Toronto bet -120 over Colorado. LA is in a pissy mood after being knocked out of the League's Cup. They're looking to make a move up the standings in the West. Colorado have had some results at home, but I think there's a big difference in class here. LAFC goes to Colorado and wins this one.
All right. Toronto bet 136 on FanDuel.
Is -120.
120. All right. -120. Good to 120.
-140.
140. Okay. Good to -140. Any other ones, or is that it for?
Let's cut it off there.
All right. If you want more bets, just reach out to Adrian in the Discord or on Twitter.
I'll drop my whole card in the Discord.
Incredible. I love it. All right. Let's talk some EPL stuff here. Things are opening up this weekend. George in the chat was asking if we're betting Chelsea outright at +800. If we're betting, is it João Felix? Is that the right? João Pedro. Sorry. João Pedro 18-1 to win the top goal scorer. Any futures you have for the Premier League coming up here this weekend?
So Premier League is not my favorite league to bet because I don't have a lot of inside info. Everything kind of gets everybody gets the info before I do. So I don't tend to play a lot of futures in the Premier League. So I don't really have anything there. I got a couple of bets this weekend. I'm kind of fading Brighton. Brighton's going to the North Pole to see Santa in midweek in Norway. And they're playing Thursday, Sunday morning, early start against Villa. I took Villa plus a quarter -109. I was kind of impressed by Villa, even though they didn't feel their best lineup against PSG. They held their own and created a lot of chances against that PSG defense. I think they will surprise some people, even though they have injury issues.
Brighton plus a quarter, or sorry, Villa plus a quarter, +109. Any
-109
minus quarter?
So plus a quarter
-109. Okay, minus quarter plus a quarter -109. There we go. Any other stuff you're looking at here? Are you looking to fade any of these teams that were promoted into the Premier League? Coventry, Hull, Ipswich. How is the transition like for those teams? Is that something that you're looking at early in the season?
So Hull will be a disaster. Everybody knows it. Everybody's bet it, I think, at this point.
Okay.
I took some Man U team totals over 1.5, the kind of steep prices, but I wouldn't recommend it at this point. I think I took -170 and it's over -200 now. So I wouldn't touch it at this point. But if you can manufacture yourself a way to bet Man U and fade Hull in the first game, go for it. Even maybe some live opportunities. Keep an eye on that because they are weak and Man U is not the same team as last year. They're slowly getting better. I think they're the kind of team that can take advantage of a weaker side at this point of the season.
Yep. Total right now in that game, 2.5 goals, -150. 1.5 goals for Man United, like you said, ran quite a bit, -230 right there on FanDuel. Any other teams you're looking to fade here? Are you interested, or what are you watching coming into week 1 of the Premier League? Are you paying attention to Man City, how they're going to operate under a new manager? Are you going to see if Arsenal can continue their dominance this year? What's something you're looking at in week 1?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the Charity Shield the weekend, and I was quite impressed with Arsenal. I thought they would win that game, but I didn't think they would win it that easily. Man City didn't put much of a fight. I think there might be a little bit of an adjustment period for Man City under new management, but they should get on a roll eventually. I'm not ready to fade them or anything, but I think Arsenal might have a better chance than I initially thought of repeating.
Arsenal to repeat right now is, if I can find it here, -4,000 top 5 finish. Wow, they're a good team. That's an understatement. +105 to win outright.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet any of that, but
no.
You don't want to lock funds in for 38 rounds.
Yeah.
Especially at that price. But I mean, Arsenal's their depth is their strength. Maybe they lose out a little bit on how things are called on set plays this season because I think the EPL is going to be looking at that closely.
Yeah.
But they're strong and getting stronger.
Yeah, sounds like with their ability to adapt as well and sort of shift the meta of the Premier League, they'll be able to adapt into the next iteration if set pieces are sort of down to the side. Any other final thoughts before you head out here? Mourinho's back in at Real Madrid. La Liga starting soon.
La Liga started last weekend.
Started last weekend. anything just outside of the Premier
So,
League?
Yeah, Italy and France are starting as well. Germany got another week to go. I got 3 other plays spread across the leagues. I got Bilbao -3/4, -103 over Sevilla. We were lucky to win with Sevilla last week, but they're a bit of a disaster. I think Bilbao at home in that Basque atmosphere is a little too much for Sevilla at this point. They're still kind of figuring out who they are. In France, I got Monaco -0.5, -102 over Le Havre. Monaco has turned over their roster quite a bit, but the quality is there, and Le Havre is likely to be one of the relegation threatened teams the whole season. So I like that close to even money. And finally, in Italy, I got Fiorentina +1, -115 against AS Roma. Some good moves in the offseason by Fiorentina. I expect them to be much improved over the last year, and hopefully keep it close or maybe get a result at Roma.
All right. Before you head out here, I got a question to ask you because I don't know if you're going to be on by the time I'm out in Italy. I'm going to get tickets to the Inter Napoli game in Milan. I think it's the first week of September. Any tips for me to do or not do well there?
So definitely go to San Siro because they're demolishing in the next 3-4 years. If you don't know how to get tickets, let me know and I can point you in the right direction. There's 3 other venues around, so depending on how much time you have, you can get to Atalanta, which is about 40 minutes away, and Monza. They play close to Milano as well.
Okay.
And in Milano, make sure you have a Negroni.
Okay, I will. All right, Adrian, appreciate you joining the show. If you want to check out the full MLS card, when Adrian sprayed the board, not actually, but kind of did, you can check that out in the Discord. He'll be posting that in our Discord, discord.gg/hammer. Also go follow him on Twitter. Adrian, any final thoughts before you head out here? Anything you're looking forward to now that the club soccer is back in full swing post-World Cup?
School starting, kids go back to school. I get my life back.
There we go. Appreciate you joining the show, Adrian. We'll chat soon. Great stuff there from Adrian, as always. All right. Charles Saul in the chat saying, Jason going to Italy, over 20 and a half vacations for Jason this year. Cashes in August. Yeah, and I got to somehow squeeze one vacation day to go to New York to go visit Isaac because I still have to be his butler. Does that count as vacation days? I don't know. But I've been trying to work that out in the background for quite a bit as well. Under 20 and a half vacation days used, excuse me. I don't even think I've breached 15 yet, so still got a ton of time. Hey, I'm going to a wedding. There's literally nothing I can do. If my best friend wants to get married and I'm in his wedding party and all this stuff, like what am I going to do? Say no? I can't say no. I don't know. Anyways, I'll miss you guys during that week, but I'll be sure to call in. Check on how everything's going from the other side of the world. Appreciate you guys tuning into the show. Do us a favor. Smash the like button. Goes a long way here on the channel. If you're new to the channel as well, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, comment down below. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday. We were just rattling off some Colts players from like the early 2010s. And Dante Moncrief is still at the front of my mind. So let's rattle off some like old Ravens in like Justin Forsett. Comment any old Ravens players down below or in the chat. Justin Forsett was the first one that came to mind. Nothing I love more than seeing just a bunch of people in the chat naming old players. It's just a fun thing to do. Also, if you want to do us a favor and share this with other people, it goes a long way. I think that's it for today. Let's get the heck out of here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to Adrian. Shout out to Drew. Shout out to Jaleel for keeping everything nice and smooth behind the board. Shout out to you guys, Charles, Connor, Chosen, TQ, E-Colt, Mike. Appreciate you guys tuning in the chat. That's it. That wraps up today's show. This has been the Tuesday, August 18th edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. We'll see you guys right here tomorrow.